Hi, I'm Chef Trevor Randle with BC Egg. Today we're rolling up our sleeves and making light, fluffy gnocchi from scratch. So we're gonna start with our nicely mashed potato, just steamed right in the jacket, peeled, then mashed. We're going to add one whole BC egg. And this is really gonna add a richness and it's gonna bind those gnocchi together. And we're gonna add one yolk. So I'm just gonna separate it over here. Using my hands as usual. Virtually all the eggs in your grocery store come from local farms. To season, a little bit of fine black pepper. And again, I'm using a nice fine sea salt here. All right. Give it a good mix, just to combine. So now we're gonna add our flour. Now, recipes are sometimes more like guides. When it comes to how much flour do you add, it's really gonna be by feel. So how much moisture is in your potato? Maybe it's the time of season, maybe you didn't steam dry it as much, you will use more flour. If it's a little more dry, you'll obviously use a little bit less flour. So really about a feel. So you want a nice soft dough, but not sticky. So we'll add about 3/4 of this. We'll get it mixed up and then we'll determine. We can see here, it's starting to come together. Still a little bit sticky, so I'm gonna finish putting the rest of that flour in and give it a mix. So we're just gonna go until we see no more dry flour. We'll have this really nice dough, soft, but not sticky. So at this point, we're gonna get rid of the spoon. Let's bring it all together. Just knead it, knead it, knead it. And onto our board. The less flour you add to your gnocchi, the lighter they're gonna be. So our dough is looking nice and soft, just slightly sticky. So we've got some bench flour here. Gonna put on our board. And that's gonna allow us just to handle it a little bit easier. So I like to cut this up into maybe quarters. Just a little bit easier to work with. So from here, I'm gonna roll it out. Now you can determine how big or small you like your gnocchi, but the move here is just roll until you have a nice long tube with your desired size. I like to go about a centimeter diameter. Gives you lots of space to shape that gnocchi. Nice and even what we're looking for. From here, we're gonna cut our gnocchi into just little pillows, like so. So easy, so quick. And just those humble, simple ingredients. It just shows that eating local and eating delicious doesn't have to be complicated. So if you're lucky enough to have a gnocchi shaper, by all means go ahead. But if you're like me and don't, the back of a fork will work just as well. All we're gonna do is we're gonna run the gnocchi up the back, give it a little twist, and we're gonna indent our finger in the bottom, something like this. So roll it up, a little indent, and there we have our shaped gnocchi. So it really is a labor of love, but the final result is incredible. And all those ridges are gonna be able to catch that sauce, and that little dimple in the back is gonna be a perfect pocket to hold that delicious sauce. And we'll transfer them to a tray or a plate where they'll wait for us until we're finished, and we'll take them all together over to the boiling salted water. All right, so a quick little sauce we're gonna make with this beautiful gnocchi, a pesto sun-dried tomato cream sauce. So very simple. And get our heat on to about medium. These sun-dried tomatoes came packed in an olive oil, so I like to add a little bit of that oil. Let it heat up for a minute. And then once it's warm, we're just gonna add our sun-dried tomatoes. So a lot of food, when it is preserved, it kind of goes dormant. It's still super flavorful. We need to kind of wake it up again by hitting it with a little bit of heat. And almost right away, as soon as these sun-dried tomatoes hit that oil, you can smell the fragrance coming from them, and that's just gonna add to the sauce. So next up, we're gonna add our cream. This is a full-fat whipping cream. Right inside. And then some of our beautiful pesto. We're gonna combine this, we're gonna bring this to a boil. We're gonna reduce it, meaning we're gonna evaporate some of that water. The fat content's gonna go up and it's gonna get thicker. It only will take about a couple minutes once it starts to boil. So here we are, it's looking great. So best way to tell if it's done, we're just gonna grab the spoon, draw a little line through it. If that line stays, that's a good sign that your sauce is thick enough and ready to go. If you do happen to over reduce it, gets too thick, you can always just add a little bit of your pasta water and gnocchi water to the sauce. It'll be just perfect. So we're gonna add a good amount of salt. All right, so we're just adding all our gnocchi inside. As soon as they start to float, then they're ready. From here, we'll scoop them out, take them right to our beautiful waiting sauce, bring it all together, and it goes straight to the plate. Here we have this bubbly, delicious, flavorful, pillowy, wonderful gnocchi. Plate it up. All those smells, the flavors really coming through. And those BC eggs, just bring it all together, hold it all together, make that bind. We'll finish with a little bit of fresh grated Parmesan cheese. And there we have it, a beautiful BC egg, fresh pillowy gnocchi, served with an incredible sun-dried tomato and pesto cream sauce. Soft, pillowy, and packed with flavor. Homemade gnocchi is easier than you think. Thanks for cooking along with me and BC Egg.